Hey everybody, it's Triple L, and hey, it's time to talk My Hero Academia, chapter 198. Guys, I can tell you, I'm super happy about this chapter because this is a chapter was do or die to find out how the rest of the arc was going to go. And man, what we got in this chapter was good. It was so good. Tokoyami at the end, man. Come on, when he takes off his cloak and he reveals he has a battle outfit underneath, that's pretty badass. Not only that, it seems he has a utility belt. So that means he has some pretty cool things up his sleeves, or his pockets, because he doesn't have sleeves. But regardless, man, listen, I'm ready for this. This is what I wanted to see. This is cool. I'm super excited. I'm more excited about this one than I was Tsuyu's confrontation, because Tsuyu's confrontation ended up being more technical because when you look at the distribution of the quirks within Tsuyu's team, they weren't really the interesting quirks. I mean, you have Koda who speaks to animals, Kirishima who gets hard, Tsuyu's a frog, and Kaminari's Kaminari, right? So I'm much more interested in this one because this one has Momo and also Tokoyami, who is a character who's largely unexplored. So I am so happy that this is the way it's going down. We're getting at least 2 chapters for this. I do believe, well, it depends. If the author wants to give Tokoyami some time, I could see this taking 3 chapters again, which is pretty great because then we've established a pattern that everyone else is most likely going to be getting 2 to 3 chapters of content, which would be amazing. I am really hoping this does not get rushed and we get to see this level of content for everyone else. That would be amazing. Because already this chapter did so well, right? We got to see Kurohiro come in there and use his quirk for the first time. I'm kind of sad that I didn't guess his quirk correctly, but it's really cool to see it. And the character dynamics in this chapter, amazing. Kendo has like a small one at the beginning, and it's like it's alright. It establishes a feeling for the rest of the chapter, or for the rest of this little confrontation. But the little Chuni fight, and I love the manga stream kind of used the Chuni phrase, but yeah, the fight between Tokoyami and Kuro it's gonna be good. It's funny. It's so funny. I'm really into it. So yeah, in just broad strokes, this is a really fun chapter. I'm so happy with it. I'm so excited to see what Tokoyami's gonna do. I'm so glad they didn't just skip over the fights like how the author did during the sports festival for some people. It'll be good. One thing that I want to touch on before we get into just talking a little bit more about the last little bit with Tokoyami and them. At the beginning of the chapter, we got to see some characterizations. Specifically, we got characterizations for Midnight, which were a lot more expressionate than usual for her. She's really enjoying youth doing their thing out in the open, and I just love that All Might called her out on it. Another characterization that we got that was really weird was Shiozaki when the Beast Man is apologizing for his shit performance, or for his for his mistakes. The girl, without batting an eye, tells him that, okay, it's just this caught me off guard. I'm just gonna load up the page again so I could read this just perfectly. And I guess we're almost at 4 minutes, so it's probably safe. Okay, here we go. My deepest apologies, Lady Shiozaki. And then she says, may the fires of hell absolve you of your sins. This girl's crazy, man. Not only can she not lie to people, she is also willing to throw her classmate into the fires of hell to make things better. No, man, she's crazy. I don't know what kind of childhood she went through, but that's indoctrination, alright? That's textbook indoctrination, without a doubt. Okay, in some ways, she's just as bad as Tokoyami and Kuro. Anyway, another person who got like mild characterization in all this as well was also technically Momo. Specifically Momo when she didn't understand what Kendo was telling her when Kendo mentioned that they were always put in a box. I just found that little bit of a conversation really funny as well. Okay, cool stuff. Ultimately, I'm excited about what's going to be happening here. We've got a lot of little characterizations going on. We had a little a Todoroki moment where he says, okay, I wonder how that's going to work with Momo's operation. And you know, that was pretty sly on the author's part. That's the author pretty much saying, hey guys, Todoroki has a good understanding of how Momo operates. That's pretty much what the author is saying when he gives those little lines away, right? The author does like establishing that some characters know some characters better, right? We have Ochako and Bakugo. We have Ida and Izuku. These are characters that know the other well enough. But moving on from that point, I am very excited to see the whole confrontation go down. And now, speaking of confrontations, let's just go back and dive in again into some of the little details with Tokoyami versus Kuro. And I'm just going to kind of call him Kuro just because, you know, I think it's easier than saying Kurohiro. Anyway, really cool that this guy is pretty much Tokoyami's fated enemy, or his natural enemy. I love that Tokoyami is the type of character that can say natural enemy and make it fit with his persona and everything. I am very excited, like I said. Tokoyami is the kid who's always in the background, who has accolades at the level of Bakugo. I want to see what the kid can do. I'm excited that we're getting it here. One thing that I really enjoyed in this chapter, though, was what we saw with Tokoyami and Dark Shadow. Specifically, Dark Shadow and Tokoyami have a telepathic bond. Dark Shadow can tell Tokoyami what's going on ahead, and Tokoyami can get that information back. That was really cool. We've never had an opportunity where we could ever wonder whether or not they share that kind of bond. But here's the thing, because they share that kind of bond, that gives you a little bit of information going into Tokoyami and Dark Shadow's, just the nature of their relationship. Because when Dark Shadow relays it back to Tokoyami, he uses his first name, Fumikage, they got me, right? He's just very fact of the matter listing Tokoyami off as his name. That implies that there's not some kind of weird mechanic in terms of what Dark Shadow is and what Tokoyami are. It seems like when you have that thing where Dark Shadow is correctly identifying his other half as its own individual entity, I do think that, you know, well, it's cool because it does imply that there is a distinct sense of self between both Fumikage and Dark Shadow. And that's pretty neat because, again, one of the cool things about Dark Shadow is that it's the only example of a quirk that creates a independent ego aside from maybe Twice, and we still don't really know what kind of ego Twice's quirk creates. It's hard to tell how independent they are, but you know, there's not many quirks creating a second mind, so it's really neat whenever we see it here. Now, one thing that I do also want to point out is that when Tokoyami went forward to get Dark Shadow back, he told everyone else to disperse. That was really good on his part, and that's just showing, again, Tokoyami's coming in with a certain level of experience. That statement is definitely a statement that reflects experience. He knew to just get people away from whatever was about to happen with Dark Shadow. So props for him. One thing that the author has been doing really well is that he's been showing off what the intern students have in terms of advantages over the non-intern students, and that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool detail. I love that the author is trying to make small distinctions to make it work. Pretty good stuff. Anyway, by the end of it, we get the promise of a new technique. I'm very excited to see it. I am kind of scared for Tokoyami though, because he's innately at a bit of a disadvantage. No matter what he does, he has to create something black. And right now, Kuro's got both the art edge on him because he looks pretty cool in a lot of his scenes, and he's also got just an advantage on being able to integrate into Dark Shadow. That's pretty scary. I do wonder, since Kuro was able to make Dark Shadow move, I wonder if Kuro is able to see into Tokoyami's psyche while he's inside of Dark Shadow, or if it's more like, you know, I wonder if it's the same thing as moving inside of a blanket. You know, you can't really figure out what the blanket's thinking even though you're inside it technically, right? I wonder if it's that kind of thing, or if Kuro actually becomes part of it such that if it has a mind, can he interfere with it? That would be pretty freaking scary, man. I'd be totally into it if it could though. But yeah, the only other note that I would really have is the little review that the kids get at the beginning from Aizawa. You know, Kirishima was being very reflective, and he pointed out, like, if he got captured like that, he'd probably die. Koda's thing is pretty much, yeah, he just needs to talk to insects better. Kaminari needs to just fix himself. I think Tsuyu got the most interesting criticism, that being that she needs to be able to respond rapidly and cover for them. Because this one isn't speaking about Tsuyu's physical ability in any which way. This one is specifically giving Tsuyu pointers on how to deal with situations better, which in a lot of ways is nice because it tells you that Suyu's problems aren't locked in her quirk anymore. Her quirk's pretty much at the serviceable level. Like, now they're fixing Suyu's leadership qualities, right? They're fixing her up to be this effective type of leader. You know, because, like, again, there is a lot of merit in, or there is a bit of a distinction in Aizawa telling Suyu that what she has to fix is her ability to respond to situations. That's pretty cool. And you know, if Suyu ends up being a leader for a little sub-team within Class 1A in the future, I would love to see what the girl is capable of, because I think it can make for some really interesting scenarios. You know, if she ends up being one of the ones that gives commands out for people, I think that'd be a really interesting way to use her. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Those are all my thoughts. I really loved this chapter. I'm so excited. I'm so happy too. My fears are gone. I'm pretty much happy at this point. Can't wait for next week. So guys, let me know what you thought down below. Until next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.